A Stranger's Wallet, a short thriller by Thomas L. Jackson. It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon when Tommy strolled into the gas station, worn out from another long shift at his dead-end job. He was just there for a bag of chips and a fill-up, nothing more. As he stepped inside, a man behind the counter looked up from his newspaper and gave him a polite nod. "Hey there, welcome in," said the man. "Hey, thanks," Tommy responded with a faint smile, heading toward the snack aisle. As he grabbed a soda and a candy bar, something caught his eye near the checkout counter, a black leather wallet, thick and clearly full of cards and cash. He bent down, picked it up, and glanced outside just in time to see a man in a business suit stepping off the curb toward a silver SUV. "Hey, sir, you dropped this!" Tommy shouted, rushing after him. The man turned, startled, as Tommy caught up and held out the wallet. Relief washed over his face. "Wow, thank you. My whole life is in there. ID cards, even some contracts I was delivering today. You saved me." "No problem. Just glad I caught you in time," Tommy said, brushing it off. "I'm Richard," the man said, extending a hand. "And you are? Tommy, are you looking for work by any chance? I run a private clinic, and I'm always looking for dependable people." Tommy blinked, surprised. "I've got a full-time job, but honestly, if you've got a part-time gig, I wouldn't mind checking it out." "Perfect," Richard grinned, pulling a sleek business card from his pocket. "Give me a call when you're ready." Tommy nodded, tucked the card in his wallet, and walked back to his car thinking maybe luck was finally starting to swing his way. A week passed, and Tommy's optimism had soured. His boss had once again passed him up for a promotion, 5th time in 2 years. All the praise in the world didn't mean much when it came with a glass ceiling. That night, fed up, Tommy remembered the card. He pulled it out and stared at it. "Dr. Richard Hale, Private Research Facility," he dialed. "Tommy, hey. Glad to hear from you," Richard answered quickly. "Come by tomorrow morning. Let's see if you like the place." The next day, Tommy drove 45 minutes to the address, a large, isolated property on the edge of town, surrounded by trees. It didn't look like a clinic, more like an old mansion retrofitted with modern equipment. Inside, Richard greeted him with a smile and gave him a brief tour. There were empty exam rooms, shelves of labeled chemicals, and state-of-the-art medical equipment that looked barely used. "We run specialized procedures here," Richard explained vaguely. "Discreet, high-paying work. I'll have you assist with prep and admin work, nothing too heavy." Tommy was intrigued and skeptical. But the place looked legit, and Richard seemed professional. He started the next day. For the first week, everything was smooth. Tommy filed reports, cleaned rooms, stocked supplies. But by week 2, things started to feel off. He never saw any patients, ever. Richard was always vague about the purpose of the clinic, and late one night, Tommy heard something behind a locked door, groaning like someone in pain. When he asked Richard about it, the doctor smiled too quickly. "Post-op recovery from a private transplant case. Confidential." Tommy nodded, but his gut told him otherwise. That night, curiosity got the best of him. He waited until Richard left and snuck back in through a side door, using a key he'd swiped earlier. Behind the locked room, Tommy found a dimly lit operating theater and a metal table in the center with restraints. A small fridge hummed in the corner. He opened it. Inside were containers, neatly labeled, hearts, livers, kidneys, all fresh. Tommy stumbled back, horrified. Suddenly, a voice echoed behind him. "You weren't supposed to see that." Richard stood in the doorway holding a syringe. "See, I meant what I said about needing good people, but good parts are even harder to come by." Tommy turned to run, but the world spun. He felt a sting in his neck. And then, darkness. Tommy awoke strapped to the very table he'd seen. Richard stood over him, surgical gloves on. "Don't worry, we'll keep you alive for the first few removals. You're healthy, Tommy. You're going to help a lot of rich people live a little longer." Tommy screamed, but it was no use. In that quiet clinic in the woods, no one could hear him, and Richard just kept smiling. For more stories like this, subscribe to CBE TV 248.